If you've been trying to regulate your nervous system for months or years and you feel stuck in anxiety, depression, pain, or fatigue, I want you to know you're not alone. I see this all the time. People spend hours doing breath work, meditation, vagus nerve exercises, and watching nervous system videos, but they're still not feeling regulated. And they're often left wondering, what am I doing wrong? As a therapist and someone who has personally recovered from anxiety, depression, chronic pain, and dysregulation, I've learned that nervous system regulation is more than just simply trying to feel calm. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through a 6-step process me and my team use with our therapy clients. This process will help you regulate your nervous system and make it more resilient and flexible. There's no fluff, there's no miracle cure, they're just practical steps that you can start to follow today. Number 1, understand nervous system science. Before we can regulate the nervous system, we have to understand what we're regulating. Most people think that nervous system regulation simply means being calm, but that is not how a healthy nervous system functions. A healthy nervous system is flexible, and it can flexibly shift between different states depending on what your life requires. Here are the 5 nervous system states. Now, as I go through each of them, see what ones you're in most often, as this can help determine what healing work you need to do. Safety. This is where you feel calm, connected, socially engaged, joyful, playful, or engage in purposeful action. This is the state where healing, creativity, and connection takes place. Fight. This is where you feel angry, frustrated, annoyed. You could be defensive, have a high need for control, or have an elevated heart rate. Now, in this state, your nervous system believes it needs to fight the danger to feel safe. Flight. Now, in this state, you're going to feel nervous, anxious, panicked, have worry thoughts or obsessive thinking. You might be hypervigilant or feel a lot of urgency and be rushing around. Now here, your nervous system believes it needs to escape to feel safe. Fawn. Here, you're going to be people-pleasing, be perfectionistic. You might overfunction, have loose boundaries, lack expression of emotion, and you also will probably put other people's needs above your own. Now here, when we're in the fawn state, your nervous system is trying to create safety by gaining social approval. Freeze and shutdown. Now here, you're going to feel depressed, despair, hopeless, helpless, numb, disconnected, or dissociative. Your nervous system is trying to create safety by conserving energy and clicking off. Now let's discuss the difference between nervous system regulation and nervous system dysregulation, because there is a lot of misunderstanding about these terms. A lot of people think that nervous system regulation means you are constantly in a safe state. And this is not correct. This is not possible. You do not function like this as a human being. It's not how your nervous system works. Nervous system regulation means flexibility. It means you could go into a dysregulated state, such as fight, flight, fawn, freeze, or shutdown. You could be there, feel connected to it, and then come back up to safety. So we want that flexibility. I'll give you an example. A few nights ago, my son was having trouble sleeping. He had a swim test the next day that he had previously failed. And it was heartbreaking as a parent. Like he was emotional. He was really scared he was going to fail and embarrass himself in front of all of his friends. And so I was trying to emotionally support him. But as a parent, it felt heavy and I felt a lot of anxious energy inside. Now, after I supported my son, I went downstairs, dropped into my body, noticed the anxiety, how it felt, slowed down my breathing, gave myself some safe self-talk, and within probably 20 minutes, I came back up to a safe state. That's nervous system regulation. It's flexibility that we're going for with this whole 6-step process. Now, nervous system dysregulation, we also want to talk about because people confuse this term. People think, oh, if I feel I'm in a state of fight, flight, fawn, freeze, or shutdown, that I'm dysregulated. But that's not what that means. Dysregulation means a prolonged state of any of these. So you go into a fight state where you're feeling frustrated, angry, and you're stuck there for hours or days. That's what we mean by nervous system dysregulation. Your nervous system gets really rigid and you struggle to come back up to safety. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid any of these states. The goal is to help your nervous system become more flexible. Now, you're probably asking, how do I create nervous system flexibility? Well, now we're going to dive into the next 5 steps of this process that are going to help you achieve this. Number 2, learn your safety signals. One of the biggest mistakes people make is immediately jumping into somatically exploring difficult sensations. If your body already feels unsafe with anxiety, depression, pain, or fatigue, and we dive straight in to attending to these unpleasant sensations, it can feel too overwhelming. Before we ask our nervous system to approach discomfort, we need to teach our nervous system what safety feels like. So with all of my therapy clients, in the second or third session I have with them, I'm teaching them safety signals. Now, safety signals are internal or external inputs that help your nervous system shift back towards safety. Now, your nervous system learns through experience. So the more experiences we can give it of safety, the easier regulation is going to be achieved. Now, there are internal and external safety signals that I'm going to go through in a second, but I want to be clear that these are unique to each person. What safety signals work for one person is probably going to be very different than what works for a different person. So explore these and find out what works for you. External safety signals include people. This could include friends, family, loved ones, pets. It could be certain authors, therapists, coaches, or speakers. Activities. This could include going for a walk, going to exercise, certain hobbies, art, music, or things like yoga or qigong. Places. This could include going to your favorite coffee shop, going to a friend's house, sitting in your favorite place in your house. It might be out in your garden or your backyard. Times. You want to notice what time of day do you naturally feel the most regulated. This could be in the morning when you're doing your morning routine and watching one of my meditations. It could be when you're doing your evening routine and cuddling with your partner on the couch. It might be certain holidays or even certain times a year. Now let's talk about internal safety signals. These are internal practices you can do to create safety within. It might include breathwork, present moment sensing, like attending to sight, sound, taste, touch, or smell. It might be tapping or somatic massage. It could be things like somatic movements, visualization, savoring pleasant sensations, or safe self-talk. So explore these different safety signals to see what works best for you. And then, as you go about your day, just sprinkle them in to create a sense of regulation. Now, after this video, you can watch my safety signal practice where I go through a number of internal safety signals. I'll put the link in the description of this video. Number 3, build awareness of your nervous system. One of the biggest reasons people stay dysregulated is they spend their entire day disconnected from their body. A lot of people notice their nervous system only once they're extremely overwhelmed. So regulation needs to start with awareness. We need to achieve embodiment. Now, embodiment means living life while you are deeply connected to your body and the sensations within. Now, a simple skill that I teach people to start using is the drop in and describe skill. So as you're going through your day, you're consistently using this really quick skill to check in with your nervous system and connect with it more deeply. Now, here's how it works. As you're going about your day, you're going to quickly drop out of your mind, drop into your body, and you're going to start to describe your nervous system state, what sensations you're feeling, if there's any pain or symptoms. And then you're going to practice sitting with it for 30 seconds to a minute, staying curious, and just deeply being with it. Now, I always tell people, while I'm providing therapy sessions to a client, every therapy session, which is 50 minutes long, I probably do the drop in and describe skill 5 times. So every 10 minutes, I'm just checking in with my body. And this is important because I want to stay connected to how am I feeling inside as the client is sharing what they discuss. So try to use this while you're at home in the morning and it's chaotic and your kids are all over the place, or while you're at work and you're in a stressful staff meeting. Just consistently start to deeply connect with your nervous system. It doesn't take too much time. Number 4, practice embodiment with dysregulation. This is one of the core practices my team and I developed. So when we were developing embodiment practices, we combined a lot of ideas from other therapeutic models, including somatic experiencing, polyvagal theory, pain reprocessing therapy, and emotional awareness and expression therapy. And we wanted to create a skill that helped clients over time very deeply connect with their internal states. Now, embodiment involves 2 ingredients, exposure and safety. So with exposure, what you're doing is you're starting to use the drop in and describe skill, get used to being in your body, and then you start to really explore the sensations even further. Sit with them for 5 to 10 minutes. Notice all the subtleties. Notice how they move or shift. We need that exposure to show our brain we're safe to be with these sensations. Now, as you're doing exposure, you're also using safety. And so as you're doing embodiment practices, you want to stay in the healing window. So there is the right level of sensation you can tolerate being with. So for example, if your anxiety is at maybe a 3 out of 10 intensity level, you may be within the window and you can tolerate doing a 10 or 15 minute embodiment practice. But let's say your anxiety was a 7 out of 10, you're probably going to be outside of that window and you don't want to do embodiment at that time. So just make sure you don't cheat the window, stay within the window as you're tracking sensations. Now you're also going to be using the safety signals I covered earlier in this video while you're getting exposure to the unpleasant sensations. So as you're attending to anxiety inside, you might be doing some breath work or shifting to notice sounds around you. And a skill that we took from Peter Levine, who is the creator of somatic experiencing, he called it pendulating. In our approach, we just call it shifting. But what you're shifting between is pleasant and unpleasant sensations. So you can practice going back and forth between an area that feels nice inside or doing some breath work and then focusing back on the anxiety that you're feeling within. So this is how you create safety during embodiment practices. You're staying in the healing window, you're using safety signals, and you're using shifting. Embodiment practices have the benefits of learning sensations are not dangerous. You are capable of attending to all sensations. Longer lasting regulation and calmness. What your nervous system needs in each moment of your day. How to reduce chronic pain, fatigue, and symptoms. To not live in your head all the time. So to get you started for free, I will put an embodiment practice link in the description of this video. Number 5, learn to work with thoughts. Most of my approach isn't focused on changing thoughts, but thoughts still matter. If I had to estimate, in my therapeutic work with clients, about 60% of my approach is focused on somatic, 30% is focused on behavioral, and only 10% is focused on cognitive. So one of the cognitive skills that we teach is the add skill. It adds a sense of safety to your thinking. Now, in the add skill, you're asking why your negative thinking is taking place. Are you feeling dysregulated inside? Did something in your external world trigger you? Or maybe your pain and symptoms are bothering you. Then you're dropping in and describing your thoughts and feelings. You want to learn to connect with them, not get overwhelmed by them, but connect with them, understand what's happening with your thinking patterns, understand what dysregulation is taking place. And then you're shifting to a safety signal, which are all the safety signals that I've listed thus far in this video. So this is the add skill. It could take you 30 seconds to a minute to use, or if you're using more of a meditation version, it could take you 10 minutes. Now, I have a full video, a very detailed video, where I explain the add skill. So I'll put that link in the description of this video. Number 6, increase social safety. Clinical strategies only take you so far. Eventually, your life itself has to begin changing in order to become regulated. Many people continue living in a way that constantly reinforces danger to their nervous system. Examples could be perfectionism, high achieving, people-pleasing, isolation, overworking, lack of purpose, or never resting. Your nervous system is noticing how you are living, not just what you are practicing. So I find a lot of people delay making meaningful, important life changes. They delay it forever, and they focus more on the internal strategies, like working with thoughts with the add skill, doing embodiment practices, or using safety signals. Please don't do this. Making lifestyle changes is a very important part of regulating your nervous system. You need to practice changing your lifestyle to incorporate 4 healthy, blended nervous system states. Number 1, purposeful action. You need to practice living in alignment with meaningful goals. Don't just go and work in survival mode, being in fight or flight and striving to be successful. Instead, you need to practice working or doing hobbies from a place of passion, creativity, and meaning. Number 2, play. Oh, this is the best one. You need to practice being playful in life. This could be with others. You might play a board game. You might do a sport. Maybe you start engaging in a new hobby that interests you. Or perhaps you play with your children or your pets. Play is a very powerful safety signal to your nervous system. So I highly recommend practice playing for 10 to 30 minutes every single day. Number 3, stillness. A lot of people struggle with this. They're always in a high intensity state, always on the go. Everything is urgent. There is no healing in that. It's not going to help you regulate your nervous system. Your nervous system needs to learn to slow down and rest to actually feel regulated in a lasting way. So make sure you're practicing this. Number 4, close connection. Now, everything I've covered on this list so far has been self-regulation strategies. These are fancy clinical strategies we are using to regulate your system. But the natural way you regulate as a human is through co-regulation. It is when your nervous system feeds off another person or animal's nervous system and you lead each other back to safety. And so we can't heal in isolation. And I know it sucks hearing that because I remember when I had chronic pain, anxiety, depression, I hid out from the world. And I know a lot of you listening to this probably have done the same. But we need to slowly start to meaningfully connect with other people or animals in our life. Maybe you go to a coffee shop with a friend. You hold hands with a partner or cuddle with them. Maybe you play with your dog and, sit on the couch and just pet them. But having some type of close connection is very important for healing. So ask yourself honestly what blended state you need more of right now. So I hope this very detailed video on 6 steps to regulating your nervous system was helpful. As a reminder, this isn't going to be instant. Your nervous system learns to become flexible and have more access to safety through thousands of experiences. And so every single day, we need to be practicing these 6 strategies. We need to be incorporating them within your life. Now, again, don't make the healing work too intense, but remember to be consistent with this, because that's what's going to create lasting regulation in your system. Take care.